We are starting tutorial 2 today. Continue working with classes and objects, core concepts that are related to classes and objects, things that have already covered in the classroom, but we now go to the practical aspects of those concepts. Let's start with example 1, and let's see. This is a geometric shape, and what shape we are going to do here? Circle. Create a class called circle. Is this clear? It has one attribute, and that attribute is what? Okay, now radius is set to what? By the first no argument constructor. So here, so many things told to us in this sentence. The class name is what? Circle, and there will be a no argument default constructor, which takes no arguments, but inside that constructor we will set the value of the radius to what, ya banat? We will come to this part, but now our first part, I will go here and say new class, and the class name is what? As they said, circle. It has one attribute, and what's that attribute? And private double radius. Is this clear? And now they want me to have one default constructor that takes no arguments. So public circle, and default constructor means it takes what? No arguments. What is the thing that I need to do in this constructor here? I need to set the radius to what value? Does that make sense, Yavana? So I did this part, and I believe it was in the first sentence of the class. The class also has another constructor that instantiates the radius to a given value. There is another constructor, and when you have multiple constructors, we call it constructor overloading. The constructor has a set and get method. The set must verify that the radius is not negative. Not only that, but it also must not be greater than what? If it's negative or greater than 20, we will set it what? To 1. So let's go and create another constructor. Public again, circle. It takes double radius. And before calling this, I need to provide set and get for which one? So I can go here and generate setter and getter for the only variable I have, which is the radius. Now in the set radius, if I need to double check if radius is greater than or equal to what? And radius is less than or equal to 20, then I will use it. Does that make sense? Else, what did they say? No, they said set it to what? In the question they said if it's none of them, then reset it to what? So this class will only accept radiuses that are between what? 0 and any out of range value will be reassigned to what? 1. Now in this method here I can say this dot set radius equal radius. Does that make sense? No, don't duplicate the code again here. Let's go and see what they want. Okay, provide a method that calculates the circumference. What is circumference, Ebenat? 2 pi r. And the area pi r square. They want us to use math.pi and math.what? Power. So now, get area. Area is not an attribute. It's a calculated thing. Is it double? Get area. So how to calculate the area? I can say return. No need to import math in Java. Math.what? Times what? I need to use power. Math.what? Power of radius to which power? 2. Are we done with this? I need another method here. Public double again. Get circumference, right? and this method again will return something similar, but this time it should be easier, صح? Return what على طول 2 times math.py times this dot get what radius. We are done with the methods. So you just need to set the radius and then you can call any method. Write tester. That's fine. We'll write a tester here. We'll call it a new circle class circle test with a main method. And let's do this here now. Circle C1 equals new circle. Now for this circle, what's the radius? 1. Yes, because I'm calling which constructor, ya banat? The default constructor. Right. I always prefer to make a toString. Why I use toString? To show that my code is what? Is working. Because in the toString, I would call all the functions. Does that make sense? So here I would do it quickly. Return what here? Area is equal to plus what, ya banat? This dot get area plus circumference, tamam, is equal to, and again plus this dot what? Circumference. And let me just make one more thing also, radius, since this value is a bit yani, okay, plus this dot get what? Radius. So now in my plus, now here I need to take a space or a comma here. It's better to take both even. And now I believe now I can output which one? C1. Let us do C1. Run. Okay, and it seems there is a problem here. Do you see what's the problem? Usually it's not terminated. This one. Good. So save. Error disappeared. And now I run this. I get radius is 1, area is this much, and circumference is that much. Any question? Now I'm going to create another circle object. Circle C2 equals new circle. And this time I'm going to provide 5 as what? And this should be accepted. صح ولا لا? Right? It should not be reset. And I then output what? What I'm going to output? C2. And you know now I used to print because it's easier to string, sorry, because it's easier to do. Now there is what? Type. You see the C2, I would say set radius to 33. If I try to do this, what's going to happen? It's out of range, so the radius value will be reset to what? And here I can what? Oh, does that make sense, Yabana? Good? Type. Let's see now. So how many constructors I used? 2 constructor, and this is called constructor overloading. And did I do validation? Now let's see the second part, which is constructor overloading, but another class. Now here in this one, there is a class called what? Okay, major has how many attributes? Major what? ID, which is what? Title, which is what? Host department, which is what? And total credit hour, which is what? So now I just copy this and go and create a class called major. I did not read the remaining parts, but I'll come back later. Major, and this is a class. I will put these things here as a comment. You understand what I'm doing, right? So here now I know what I need. So yalla, first thing, you need to declare those things. So first, major what? ID, private what, ya banat? Integer, right? And one by one in Java, we do this in classes. Private what? String what? Title. And private. Host, integer again. Host. Department. ID. And finally, private what? Integer, which is total credit hours. Does that make sense? So now I have how many? All the attributes, right? Before using setter and getter, let us make sure we did this part. Write a Java code for the major class, including setters and what? And fully parameterized. What is a fully parameterized constructor? Everything in this. So before, I prefer to do what before? Setters and getters. Generate setters and getters and select all, and that's it. Now I need to provide a fully parameterized constructor. I can do it manually, but khalas, now we can use Eclipse to do this. Generate constructor using what? Fields and select all, and that's it. Does that make sense, Yabanat? If you don't like this, super, that's fine. Just remove it for now. Tamam. So we still need to see if there are any constraints. Oh, add what? That sets what? استنوا شوي. So we can create a major with no arguments. So here, let me just copy paste this again here. You know what I'm doing, صح ولا لا? That sets. So now we have a no argument constructor that sets so I'll go here to the constructor and I say source generate constructor using field, and I will say what? Deselect all. So none of them is there. Do you agree? What do I need inside it? It seems I need to set default values. صح? I'll just copy this here. Major ID to what? And title is what? Unknown, right? And is this right? What else? Host department ID is 888. And what else? Total credit hours to 0. So if you call this constructor, the default values are going to be set here. Do you understand this? If you call this constructor, whatever values you provide will be used. Any questions so far, Evanat? So write a method called display that outputs what? The value of what? Major, each in a separate line with proper labels. Yani they want what? They want to do and I prefer to do, instead of display, I prefer to do what? Public what? Public string what? To string. Tamam? So that's going to be much easier for me to do it. So now string details equals to, okay, major ID, and I'm going to call what? This dot get what? Major ID. Does that make sense? Right. I will go now and say details plus equal. Did you get this? صح ولا لا? And here I get a new line because there was no new line. I will say title. Do you agree? And then plus what? This dot what? Get what? Title. Is this clear what I'm doing? So what else I have? I need two things. What is this? Host department. صح? Host department. And I will code which method here? Get host department ID, and finally here I would do what? Total credit hours, and this will be get what? Semicolon here, and get which one? Which method? Get total credit hours. Does that make sense, Yabana? If you want to look, give it the look of okay. If you want to give it here, yeah. If you want to give it tab or something, you can think of this later, but now, and I think that's enough for me here. So now finally, what should I do here? Right, return what? The string that I named details. بس خلاص. Now they want to create a tester class. I'll call it major tester. Okay. And finish here. So now I forgot to do what? Main method, right? If you forget main method, how to do it? Main control space enter. Is it? You got it. I free you, huh? Tamam. If you forget main method, so main space control space enter. So now major M1 equals new major. This one will take only default values. Do you agree? And this one major M2 equals new major. And this one will take, for example, 12 and title computer engineering. تمام. and هو مش عارف نسيت أنا شو هما 134. does that make sense يا بنات؟ let me output both majors. ماشي M1 and also output what? M2. ماشي الحال. So now if I output this, major ID, title unknown, it took the default ones from the, and this one major ID, whatever ID and whatever things I used. Is this clear? Let's see if they want one more thing. Okay, write a class, display their contents using what? The above method. You should utilize the two overloaded constructors. يعني use both of them. And I believe for M1 I use the default constructor. For M2 I use the fully parameterized constructor. Any question? Tamam. Excellent. Now we'll go to a topic called what? Static methods. ماشي? Now, anything, okay. Now look at this method. Trace the following method to figure what's, you know what's this method, يا بنات? This method returns what? Returns the number of digits in a number. You get my point? يعني بترجع, if you 6, 7, 8, it will return 3. Does that make sense? It will give you the number of what? Digits in. So this, okay. There is one error in it. Here we say double what? Double what? But the method returns what? And this method will not run. Because here you say I am going to return integer, but actually n is what? And n should be integer because number of digits in a value is an integer value. So this, okay. So how to fix the error? Just change the return type of n to what? To integer. Now, look at, now you need to pay attention if you did not comprehend or understand the topic of static in your hand. Now I create a class called what? Int what? What's the class name here? Int numbers. Is there a main method in it? Yes. So they want me to use this code inside the main method. They want me to use this in a main method and, okay, scanner. What's the problem? So just click on this one, it will import it. And when you copy, sometimes it's going to be a problem here when you copy from PDF. So you just need to change. Now I need to call which method? Digits. Where is the method digits? It's given to us here, right? Of course, we need to fix the error. ماشي? Okay. So I'll put the method here inside it. So how? See, this is the end of main here, صح? And now this one, I should fix it to what? Now digits is being called from main, yes or no? طيب. Main method now, what do you see about main method? What's this word? Static, صح? Static means what? Belongs to what? The class or the object? The class. Static methods can only call static methods. Static methods can only call what? Static methods cannot call non-static methods because non-static methods live inside the objects. But static methods only live inside what? From the same class you can create 1 million objects. So static methods can only call what? Static method. So in order for this to work, if I try to run it, look at the error. Unresolved. Cannot make a static reference to the non-static method digits. Does that make sense? What does it mean? It means that you are trying to call a method which is non-static from a method that is what? You cannot do this. If the source method is static, the destination method also must be what? So now if I change this to static, do you see the error disappears? Does that make sense? Now, if I run this, enter a number, 6, 7, 8, whatever, it returns 6. Does that make sense? Which is what? Number of digits here. صراحة بعرفش من وين أنا جا اللي بعده. Square root. Square root. طيب. Do you see this يا بنات؟ طيب. So now, what's the thing that we learned? If your source method is a static, destination method can only be what? طيب. Static methods belongs to what? They don't belong to object. So in order to call them actually, do you know math.sqrt? Do you know math.power? Do you know those math classes? طيب. Actually, if you want to understand this, there is a class called math. There is a class called what? SQRT and power are methods in that class. SQRT and power and pi, sine, cosine are all what? Right. Do you create, in order to use power, do you create an object of math class? Yani do you say math M1 equals new math, then they call the SQRT? You don't call it. So look at the line 12 here. You say class name and method name, yes or no? We didn't do this before in our examples. We always say object name, then what? Method name, yes or no? However, if the method is static, you do not need to call the class. You do not need to create an object to use it. You can just type the class name and what? You can type the class name and what? And the method. طيب كيف؟ ما احنا هنا we are doing this here. Do you see this? If you go to the documentation of Java, you will find that math class has some static methods you call this way. طيب now I have a class called what? What's the class name? It has a static method called what? طيب, do I need to create an object? Let us. I am here يا بنات. Do you see? I am in a different what? I have a value. I need to know how many digits in it. Do I have a method that calculates the number of digits in a value? Yes or no? In which class? Int numbers. Is the method dynamic or static? Do I need to create an int numbers to use a static method in it? No, because the method is static. So look at this. Sys out. What's the class name? Int numbers. Dot. Wow. Dot. What do you see here? Digits. So this value will go to the method directly. You don't have to do anything. Exactly. You have been using this in Python. You have been using math.power.sine, cosine without creating anything. صح? You can use a method of a class directly without creating objects only if that method is what? Static. Run. خلينا نشوف صدقته ولا لا. Do you صدقته? Do you see it? طيب, I'll create a quick example من عندي هيك. تمام. Class. I'll call it temp convert. What's the class name يا بنات? طيب, look at it now. You know conversion of Fahrenheit to Celsius. طيب, public static double C to F. You know what I mean by C to F? Celsius to what? And here I give double Celsius. So return what? Return what? Celsius. صح هيك? Times what? 1.8 plus 32. Does that make sense? What's the method? طب خليكم معي. Another method. I'll call it C to K. Kelvin. You know Kelvin, صح? Which is Celsius plus 273.15. Does that make sense? Both methods are what? In which class? So anytime you need to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, just write the class name and the method name. Do you get this يا بنات? No need to create anything. بدي اروح للميجر test. Sys out. What's the class name? Temp convert dot. Ya salam. What's this? C to what? C to F. 40 لازم يكون 104. 104. ليش هيك؟ بعرفش. حسبنا شيء غلط صح؟ Where is it here? Temp converter 32 صح؟ Right. يلا we'll test it again. Does that make sense? I want to convert what? Whatever you want to convert يا بنات. Now again. أقول لكم double. Okay, Kelvin is equal to, what's the class name? يلا. Temp what? Convert dot C to K 40. Now I have Kelvin in what? 40. You have been doing this, but now you know how these things are designed. Static methods belong to what? The class. No need to create object. You can just use it directly because they are part of the class. Class is there all the time. Objects are not. You need to say new object. Did you understand the main concept of static methods? Excellent. Type. We go here. Okay. Now. Of course, خلاص. You need to import it. تمام? You just need to import it. Does have the method compilation error? I believe I explained this. صح ولا لا؟ تمام. So let us see. Create a new project and int numbers after. I did this already. Here they are telling you about the math class that has static methods called what? Power and all these things. And also I did this for you. Does it matter to put digits in a method before or after? Here they were telling you, is it question of, the place of method is not right? No, it doesn't matter يا بنات. يعني if here it's a static, right? Now if you run it, it works, but it must be what? It must be static because main is what? You cannot call look at this now. على طول you get what? That you cannot call the method. So it's all about static methods can only call what? بس خلاص. It's all about this, has nothing to do. Create a new class, move it to the method, and then I did this. Also call it to the digits now. Tamam. If the method digits, do I need to create a new? يعني here يا بنات in the tester I said integer numbers صح ولا لا? Do I need to say integer numbers in1 equals what? A new what? A new int numbers and default constructor الاسم here. Do I need to do this? Do I need to? Actually, no need to do it, but it works. يعني now what's the object name? No need to call the static method. No need to call it from the object. You call it directly from where? But you still can call it. يعني from non-static you can call it. شوفوا معي sys out in one dot digits. بس لاحظوا digits here. Do you see the letter S? Do you see the letter S? بالأحمر. قولوا خلاص في شيء بالأحمر شايفينه؟ S. S means this method is what? يعني this method خلاص when you see S now you know this thing belongs to what? The class and not what to what? طيب one more thing, it does not have to be a method. طبعا this will work يا بنات. يعني you can still call it from object but no need. I will put any number here. Do you get this? حتى they give you warning. What's the warning? That this method is static. You don't have to call it from what? From objects. You call it directly from, but it works. It works يعني تمام. I'll give you one more example here. What about buy يا بنات? You call buy صح? You get buy and the values there. راح نعمل الباي تبعنا. Good? private. مش شرط private هو. Okay. Final. You know what's final? Final static double. خلينا نسميها Java buy. Do you get this? Is equal 3 point whatever. هذا تبع Archimedes. تمام. Good. So now is Java by a static? Forget if it's final or not final. This is another thing. هلا if you need by يا بنات وين السيركل؟ Do you see circle؟ احنا جبنا مين الماث دوت باي تبعت مين؟ تبعت جافا صح؟ طب int numbers dot Java by. Does that make sense? Did you understand it now? So anything static belongs to who? The class. على طول class name and whether method name or what? or constant or even a variable name. ماشي الحال. Okay, go to the next topic then if ماشي الحال.